Strong shoulders are good for lifting spirits. Well, I guess I can trust you. It's not the plants so much as what's in them. Doc says they feed on rads like bees to honey. You get sick and a plant like that'll flush it right out of your system. And that's what I need it for. A friend of mine, his wife, she's dying. They tried that already. Even got her in one of those suits in case the air was bad. Doc said the plant's the only thing that'll save her. I know him, and that's all that matters. The rest, well, it's complicated. People don't got any sense is why. When they found out what it could do, everyone and their sister plucked it out of the ground. You ask people now, they say it's gone forever. Can't find what ain't there. But Pa always told me, can't never could. So long as you have faith, God'll show you the way. Thanks for helping. I ain't good at this sort of thing, but I just want to say I owe you one.
Please, hurry. She's on... You just...
Guess it's time to sort out the saints and the sinners. You ain't gonna win this.
Sorry I tricked you, but thanks for clearing out the gecko.
You got any guilty pleasures? For me, it's got to be Spring Valley crisps. When I I was young, I used to collect the little barcodes so I could send them in for a moon map. Never got it, though. I imagine these days Spring Valley's going through a nuclear winter. Where to next, Park? You writing a book, darling? Well, if you are, I guess it's smart to peek under the cover. What do you want to know? Well, most songs I know are church ones. Amazing Grace, for instance. But if you're talking about the radio, I've always had a soft spot for Marty Robbins. I like that he always got a story to tell. So, you're a fan too? I always say there's no better music to play by the campfire. But truth is, I can listen to Marty just about anywhere. My favorite's The Master's Call. It's got a lot of sin, but it's also got a lot of soul. I can even sing it for you, so long as you promise to keep the matches from your ears. Be a shame if I burned them. Oh. Well, I got a real plain sense of humor. Most of the jokes I like are the kind that makes other folks cringe. Okay, how's this? What's a Brahmin's favorite drink? Mooka-Cola. Well, you could always slap your knees. That usually gets the point across. Or you could just, laugh. That's an easy one. I don't like jokes that are mean. The world would be a lot better place if we stopped picking on people and learned to laugh at ourselves. Well, I'm blind as a bat, slow as a snail, and I can't say 2 words before stepping on my tongue. So you ain't the only one with a big red circle on their back. That's what I like about you. We both got our ways. And while we may be 2 caps short of a 6-pack, somehow we managed to make change. You...
Hey there. Hi there. Sticking... Not in Good Springs, no. But if you're up for... Most of what's in there is junk, but there's this old safe that even eats if you want to take a shot at it. If the lock's too much for you... You'll need those to pick... Oh. Well, go ahead and keep the stuff I gave you anyway. It'll... Sure. Southeast of here is Prim. Can't miss it. Since it has the giant old roller coaster right in the middle of town. The NCR's got an outpost there. If you follow the road north, you'll eventually hit Sloan and Quarry Junction. They mine rocks or something, but I heard they got troubles lately. I wouldn't head that direction if I were you, though. Got critters up there that don't take kindly to getting shot. Around here, mostly coyotes and geckos. The coyotes are pretty dangerous in large packs, but otherwise they're nothing to really worry about. The geckos aren't too tough, but they've got a nasty bite. I've heard about bigger, nastier versions out in the wasteland, but I've never seen them. Stick to the roads when you can, and steer clear of the hills north of Good Springs. The critters up there are big and poisonous. If you... Sure can. Take the road southeast out of town till it hits the freeway. Prim is the town with the roller coaster, straight south. Can't miss it. NCR patrols do a good job of keeping the highway clear, but I'd keep your gun where you can reach it easily. You never know who you'll run into. Off the road, you'll probably start running into hostile wildlife. My advice would be to stick to the highway when you can. Until next...
My motto is, if you ain't got something nice to say, don't say anything at all. Yeah, good timing. I was talking to that bartender just now and got something good. Said some fella came by here the other day talking about this old cave, dark as death. But if you keep walking, you'll find this one spot where the light comes through, like a kiss from heaven. And beneath it is a field of plants whiter than angel wings. Not on the cave, but I did get a bead on the fella who seen it. A guy by the name of Gomez who hangs out at the Bighorn in Boulder City. I say we go pay him a visit. Well, you got to promise not to laugh, but I'd rather not get in a tussle with one of them tin men. Well, when I was an ankle biter, me and some of the other kids used to shoot cans off old lady Maven's fence. A little of both, I guess. Not that it helped much. I probably hit more drywall than anything. Maybe even hit Maven, too, and she was up there with the angels. Don't know. Must have been the cholesterol that got her, 'cause the whole house was full of them. Cans. Of course, most of us were too scared to go down to the basement. But my cousin Bobby, bless his foolish heart, he just ran in like it was nothing. He'd just go in and come out with like a dozen or so cans. And every day we kept waiting for him to say there ain't no more, but we'd always run out of bullets first. So one day I asked him, just how many cans were in that basement? And he shrugs his shoulders and tells me, hell if I know. They just pop out that metal box like they was her baby. I don't know why, but after he said that, I got a harder time shooting tin cans than I do people. Remember, the Bighorn Saloon is where he'll be.
I'm done being nice. If you don't hand Ringo over soon, I'm going to get my friends and we're burning this town to the ground. Got it?
We'll keep that in mind. Now, if you're not gonna buy something, get out.
What do you want? He's some traitor who decided he'd rather shoot than pay the toll for being in our territory. He's hiding somewhere in town. Would serve these idiots right if me and my guys shot the place up after we got payback on Ringo. It is now. Me and the rest of the guys busted out of the NCR prison east of here and took over. Now we're calling the shots. None of your damn business. You ought to know better than to ask a man that kind of question. Robbed some people, burned some things, killed a few guys. Yeah.
Well, you've been causing quite a stir. Glad I finally got to meet you. Welcome to the Prospector Saloon. Not much, other than they're a bunch of freeloaders who expected a few rounds on the house. I was able to get them to pay up, though. Of course, one of the great cons did knock my radio to the floor, by accident, and it hasn't been working since. They were having some kind of argument about it, but the guy in the checkered coat kept shushing them. Sounded like they came in from the north through Quarry Junction. If that's the case, I can't say I blame them for not wanting to go back. That whole area is overrun with the kind of critters that just get mad if you shoot them. Merchants avoid that whole stretch of I-15 like it's radioactive, which it could be for all I know. I didn't hear exactly, but the leader was talking about the Strip. Fellow wants to get there and avoid the 15, he'd have to go east. Take Highway 93 up. Sure, the outside looks okay, but I think something broke on the inside. There'd be caps in it for you. I do like to hear what's going on in the world. And that Mr. New Vegas seems like such a gentleman. I know that thing as much as anyone else around here. It mostly keeps to itself, which is just fine by me. Other than rolling around once in a while, it doesn't do anything useful as far as I can tell. I don't know why it took an interest in you, but I'd be careful. It's never helped anyone before. It acts friendly enough, but I don't trust that whole cheerful cowboy act. I find it all very creepy. It was here when I took over the saloon 7 years ago. Some people have said its owner lived here, but no one knows who it was. There's always something interesting going on, but the biggest news has to be the come and dust up between the NCR and the Legion over the dam. The new California Republic's got the most power in Nevada. Money, troops, you name it. They do what they can to keep things safe in the region. But if you ask me, they're trying to do too much. They're spread too thin. Mostly traders looking to buy bighorn meat and hides. The traders are the main reason the general store manages to stay in business. Most travelers heading south on the I-15 just push on towards Primm, unless they're in desperate need of supplies. I'm pretty sure the NCR wants to hold on to the dam because it's one of the few places around that can make electricity. The Legion are a bunch of savages, though. No idea why they'd want the dam. Probably plan on destroying it or something. Slavers, killers, and all other kinds of trouble. They dress up like Roman soldiers, so there's no mistaking it when you see them. The rumor is that the Legion is far larger than the NCR lets on, and that it's been due to luck that the Legion hasn't overrun the territory. Looks like our little town got itself dragged into the middle of something we don't want anything to do with. About a week ago, this trader, Ringo, comes into town. Survivor of an attack, he says. Bad men after him. Needs a place to hide. We figured he was just in shock, so we gave him a place to lie low. We didn't actually expect anyone to come after him. Cobb hasn't exactly been looking for Ringo too hard. I think he's afraid that Ringo will ambush him, which is probably true. Some of the others, like Sonny, will probably stand up for Ringo if he asks for help, which he hasn't. Personally, I hope he sneaks out of town one night and takes the powder gangers with him. Chain gangs, really. The NCR brought them in from California to work on the rail lines. Problem is, it turns out that giving convicts a bunch of dynamite and blasting powder isn't the best idea. It was a big escape not too long ago. Some of them stuck together so they could make trouble. That's what we're dealing with now. He's holed up at the abandoned gas station up the hill. You mean murder him? That's not our way, even if Cobb is scum. He can bluster and threaten all he wants. All right. If you were able to get Ringo out of this mess, you'd have a decent reputation around Goodsprings. I'd even set you up with a discount. Of course, helping Ringo would also make the powder gangers mad, and they've got a lot of friends out there. He's a convict, just without the chains. Said his name was Cobb. Powder gangers is what they call themselves. Plenty more like him out there. Be careful out there. Feeling thirsty? I can take care of that. Yeah, I heard it turn right back on after you got done tinkering with it. Here's some caps for the work. Not at all. I'm never sure how much is normally charged for this sort of thing. Here's some additional caps. That should be enough. Now, how about spending some of those caps in the saloon? Be careful out there.
They say old Doc Mitchell can patch a stinger off a bee. Most folks are just wondering about the guy who got stung.
Oh, sorry. Just thinking about this lead in Boulder City. I hope we don't miss him.
I learned most of what I know from my ma and pa. Ma was a real Annie Oakley. Give her a shotgun and a shot glass and she was a happy camper. Pa was a preacher. Soon as Ma was done sinning, he was there to wash 'em clean. I think we got along well enough. I don't know if opposites attract, but they sure as hell stick together. You need two things to survive out here in the wastes. A quick draw and a strong faith. I was blessed with both. I reckon I haven't. Like Ma, I mostly use a shotgun. Got bad eyes, so the spray helps. Pa used to say the blurry vision's a blessing. Some days I can't tell a ghoul from a gecko, and that's why I treat everyone the same. All right.
Howdy. Bad trouble. Welcome. Yup.
Welcome back. I had...
Might find some work over at the saloon. Most people, though, are just hard at work drinking. Picked up some spare shells if you need them.
What's mine is yours. Good Springs. I like the name. Ma'd say you can't see the springs or the good by the looking at it, but I like a little bit of optimism.
That's close enough. Who are you, and what do you want with me? Sorry about the gun. You just caught me off guard, that's all. We got off to a bad start. What say we start over with a friendly game of Caravan? You know how to play? It's a two-player game, and the winner takes the whole pot. You build a caravan using the cards in your deck. The goal is to create caravan bids that beat your opponent's bids, so there's more strategy than luck involved. It's why you won't see caravan in any casino. Too slow-paced. And more importantly, no house edge. Here, take this holotape. It goes into more specifics about the rules. You'll also need a deck, so take one of my spares. So, you feel like playing a game? Don't worry. I'm not that good of a player. What is it? Yeah, he doesn't look very tough, though. I hear he's afraid I'll shoot him down from one of the windows when I see him. And he's right. I'll have a much bigger problem once his friends show up. There's no way I could handle all of them in a gunfight. I'm gonna lay low for as long as I can, assuming the town doesn't throw me to the wolves. I've got no chance against the gang on my own. We'd just end up sharing the same grave if it's just the two of us. Now, if some of the other people in town were also on board... Start with Sunny Smiles. She's been friendlier than most around here.
This place is browner than a Brahmin, and I ain't entirely sure it's dirt.
Hi there. Sticking around good... Say no more. I'm in. Joe Cobb talks about leaving us alone if we hand over Ringo. But I know his type. He and his friends will come after the town eventually. However, between you, me, and Ringo, we aren't exactly a force to be reckoned with. A lot of people around here look up to Trudy. If you could convince Trudy to join us, some of the folks in town might decide to help out as well. I know Easy Pete's got a stock of dynamite somewhere, and Chet just got a shipment of leather armor we could borrow. Talk to them as well. Finally, there's a good chance we'll all end up with extra holes in us. So if Doc Mitchell could cough up some extra stim packs, that'd be great. A silver tongue would help. Convincing Trudy that we had a good plan to win the fight would also help. I don't think give is in Chet's vocabulary. Even with the town at stake, he'd still make you barter with him. Easy Pete's pretty protective of his dynamite. You'd have to convince him you know a thing or two about explosives before you handed it over. I'll be waiting.
So you're planning on taking on Joe Cobb's gang. It's a big risk, but I suppose you have to do what you think is right. That does sound like a good plan. All right, you seem to know what you're doing, so you can count me in. Let me have a word with a few other folks, and I'll see if I can't round up some more members for this militia you're creating. While everyone does own a gun, we could stand to be a little better equipped. The general store probably has what we need in stock. Be careful out there.
Howdy. Too dangerous. Gonna kill all yourselves if I let you touch it. Better to leave it buried. Safer that way. Uh-huh. Guess you know what you're doing. I'll go dig it up and get it ready. You'll have it by the time the fighting starts. Yup.
You must be the one Doc Mitchell was patching up. The way I heard it, I didn't think you'd be walking out of that office. I've got plenty of supplies for sale. Even got some weapon mods and special ammo. Well worth the caps if you ask me. If you're hurting for caps, I've also got boxes of surplus ammo in the miscellaneous section. They're not great, but you get what you pay for. The leader was a New Vegas type. Typical city boy. He had a bunch of Great Khans with him, probably hired guns. The Great Khans normally stay in their own territory way up northwest, on account of them being enemies with the NCR. If Ringo doesn't head out on his own, I think we should hand him over. The town shouldn't get itself mixed into the problem. Don't mistake that for coward talk, though. We're a town of survivors. We'll fight tooth and nail if pushed, but we don't go looking for trouble. Now just hold on. I never voted to take on the Powder Gangers. That's a 1,000-cap investment you're talking about. You made your point. I can provide people with some leather armor and extra ammo. Sure hope it's worth it. And I'll be guarding the store while all this is going on. I have to put my business first. You understand. It's all about quantity over quality. Trouble is, you'll be cleaning and fixing your gun a lot more than usual when you use those kind of bullets. Weapon mods are things like silencers, scopes, bigger magazines. Special ammo includes things like armor-piercing bullets, which don't hurt the target as much, but let you punch through armor easier. There's also hollow point bullets, which have the opposite effect. You can kill unarmored targets easier, but they don't do shit against armor. Twice. Both times I drank a lot of liquor and lost most of my caps at the card tables. In that order, now that I think about it. If you ever get to New Vegas, be sure to visit Gomorrah. It's the best casino in the city. You won't regret it. Word of advice, behave. Between the NCR military police and Mr. House's robots, you don't want to be causing trouble on the Strip. I'm afraid I don't know much myself. Mr. House has got his own casino, Lucky 38, but nobody goes in or out except his robots. The other casinos follow Mr. House's rules, so I guess that makes him the leader of New Vegas. As far as I know, nobody's ever laid eyes on the guy. I think that robot who pulled you out of the dirt belongs to Mr. House. If Mr. House is looking after you, it's got to be a good thing, right? They're tough sons of bitches. Mean, but not crazy. They'll leave you alone unless you got something they want. The Great Khans deal in illegal chems. There's a good chance that most chems you come across were made by Great Khans. Can do. Give me a shout if you need anything else. Take it easy now.
You let me know if you need any extra clothes. Beds around here are so cold you'll shake like a hound dog on Elvis night.
How are you holding up? Seems like wherever I go, it's always the same. Folks just never leave each other alone. Oh, I'm not much good in a fight with my bum leg. And my supplies are scarce, but I'll give you what I can spare. I ain't got much, but it'll do you more good out there than it will in here. Take what I got. Well, I already told you I came from a vault. After that, I was a traveling doctor for a spell. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Most folks out here ain't educated, so people with medical know-how are hard to come by. I found that I could help a lot of people with what I knew, and that was all right with me. Eventually, I went back and married my childhood sweetheart, and that was the end of my traveling days. Didn't miss it none then. Still don't. You take care now.
I'll keep an eye out for the powder gangers and meet up with you and Ringo when the time comes. Until next time. Howdy.
Hello.
Never was much for sightseeing. Best I go where you take me.
Hello there. It's good to see a friendly face. I almost took you for a raider, I did. Name's Malcolm. Malcolm Holmes. Don't suppose you'd care to trade. I'm missing a few essentials and... screw this. Lying just ain't in my nature. I'll tell it to you straight. I've been following you for a good bit now. It started off innocently enough. I was traveling, as I often do, and happened to observe you picking up one of those Blue Star caps. You didn't show any reaction to it, so I figured you didn't know what you'd gotten your hands on. There's an old wasteland legend that says somewhere out there is a fabulous treasure from before the war. Those caps with the blue star on them, the tale goes, are the key to that treasure. They're called Sunset Sarsaparilla stars. All over the place. The easiest place to find them is unopened bottles of Sunset Sarsaparilla. You'd think they'd all have been picked clean by now, but somehow, new bottles keep appearing in the machines. Some say it's old Festus that does it, hoping someone will finally collect enough caps to earn the treasure. Other than bottles, you'll just have to scavenge. You can find caps in the unlikeliest of places, and Blue Star caps are no exception. It's said that the treasure is guarded by a man named Festus, and he's the one who asked for the Blue Star caps. It's also said he's been around since the war, standing a lonely vigil, waiting for someone to come and take the treasure off his hands. That'll make him pretty damn old, but I've met a few people in my travels who claim they actually met him, and they weren't the lying type either. Nah, I gave it up years ago. Too dangerous. And even if I did still collect them, I'd tell you the same. There's people out there so mad with the idea of treasure that they'll attack strangers just on the suspicion that they have some of those caps. No one knows. Money, weapons, water. It is, or maybe was, something of value, and that's enough to get people motivated. No problem. If you do end up trying to collect more stars, watch out for a man named Alan Marks. He's killed several people for their stars already.
Life's all about breaks. You gotta know when to make 'em and when to take 'em. All right. Why weren't the kids allowed to hang out at the toxic waste dump? They just weren't ghoul enough. Remember, the Bighorn Saloon is where he'll be.
So what's going on? Did Sonny agree to help us? Well, I guess that means we're ready to go. Unless you think there's something else you can do. All right, I'm ready. I hope.
Time to look alive. The Powder Gangers are here to play. They're getting set up in cover, but it might not go well unless we get out there soon. At least 6, Joe Cobb included. They look pretty mean. Oh, Easy Pete came through with the dynamite. Here's your supply. I really hope I don't blow myself up. I'll be set up near the store. Let's hope that the gang doesn't manage to make it that far.
I owe you a huge favor for this. Here, these are technically Crimson Caravan funds, but I know they'll understand once I explain things. I did have what was left of the Crimson Caravan money, but I wasn't sure if it was my right to just give it away. I owe you more than that, though, so look me up at the Crimson Caravan camp up in New Vegas if you ever visit. Hey.
Howdy. Howdy.
That ought to keep things settled for a while. Hope it stays that way. Keep your gun handy if you go poking around some of the abandoned places around here, like the schoolhouse. Wasteland critters like to move in when Sonny's not looking, so watch out.
Hello?
We need more people like you around.
What's mine is yours.